Hi, my name's Doug Townsend. I work with Flemington Community Centre with Moonee Valley City Council, and this is the first of our Connecting Flemington interviews. So I'd like to introduce you to a good friend of ours, resident artist, and someone who's done some amazing work with the Flemington Community Centre around film and that, and her name is Noelle Hersey. Did I say it correctly?
Yes, it's Noelle Hersey.
There you go. There you go. So Noelle, can you tell me a little bit about your background and where you're from? And
okay. So I'm like a local Flemington girl. Flemington, North Melbourne. I've lived, worked, volunteered, like I hang out, like that is my area, that is where I grew up. So I've been a contract filmmaker for Flemington Community Centre for the past few months. And Doug and I produced and directed a series of videos celebrating Flemington and what it's about and the people and organisations. And it's basically like a fun take on what we think Flemington means to us. So yeah, I'm an artist in that form. I come from a filmmaking background, but also a multimedia background. I do communication, social media, photography, filmmaking, editing, like things around that, basically.
cool.
That is my life.
Yeah, nice.
Storytelling, essentially.
Storytelling. Storytelling is a huge key of, I think, how we communicate these days. So how did you end up getting into that storytelling, filmmaking side of photography, side of life?
I loved storytelling from a very young age. I was immersed in stories throughout my whole life, like growing up all the way through high school, through uni and stuff. And I got to like storytelling on a visual format through photography. So I love just like capturing a moment and like that moment being a story in itself. I also had like different frustrations on like why I couldn't see myself in different forms of stories, whether it be in journal articles in like the newspapers or like TV documentaries or like movies and stuff. So I got into filmmaking and I was just like why not, kind of thing, like why not give it a go. I loved photography. I loved this sense, like I love the whole magic of like creating the story from scratch. Like I love that from the screenwriting perspective all the way to like editing and stuff and then premiering it and stuff. Like it's a passion of mine. So that's how I got into it, kind of thing. So it was just like one step at a time. And now I've like completed my studies and stuff and I get to work in the field. So yeah, it's been cool.
Fantastic. And along that journey, like, have you picked up any people that have inspired you, like inspiration, mentors, people that are speaking into your life or world, not necessarily in a it might be an individual, but it could be an artist or
well, being an artist and being creative in Melbourne is really like, it's like in Melbourne, especially Australia, I feel like it's probably the best place to be an artist because there's so many different groups of people. There's so many different like festivals you can go through. We really celebrate art in the city and stuff. So I've been fortunate enough to like go to different like festivals and workshops and like different events and stuff and just meet a variety of different people doing like what they love, from like poetry to like stand-up comedy to just like filmmakers, like different types of filmmakers. So you've got like you've got people that just do comedy, you've got people that do documentaries, you've got people that do like array of different things and stuff. And I find inspiration from like just having a conversation with almost anyone, kind of thing, like looking around, like looking at people in my life that have had amazing experiences and stuff. Well, I think their experiences have been amazing and stuff, and just kind of like tapping into that. And that's kind of where I get my info from. And then I connect with like so many different other creatives, and we kind of just like, we either like collab, make magic, or just like have a dope conversation and leave it for another time.
Okay. Have you got any advice for any young aspiring artists, creatives, photographers, video filmmakers out there?
Give it a go.
Yep.
I think just give it a go. I'd say you don't know if you don't try. And I feel like we live in a time, especially in 2020 with all the technological advances, like you don't need a heavy like 10-kilogram camera to go running around, and you don't need like the best audio equipment to go out and tell your story. Like you could literally do it on your phone. Like it's that convenient. It's that hand for everyone. So I feel like everyone is a storyteller in their own way, shape and form. So I feel like give it a go, get to know yourself, get to know your own story. And then if you really love it, kind of thing, like get to like make make a story kind of thing, like use your friends, use your family, meet people, do things and stuff, and just like have a go with it and see how much fun it can be. Yeah, and if you want to give it a go as a career and stuff, it's pretty dope as well.
Cool. Is there any like basics that people should be looking for, or looking, like if they're just wanting to have a go, and like, you know, if they've just got their mobile phone, are there any basics that they should consider?
I recommend doing some level of study kind of
Yep.
thing, to just like to differentiate between, like, you know, a person with a phone and like a person wanting to be a filmmaker kind of thing. There is
Yep.
a slight difference. So like knowing camera angles, knowing how to play with lighting, knowing how to play with like height and stuff kind of thing, knowing how to play with different environments, different surroundings,
Yep.
know like what the sun does to someone's face, know what like soft lighting does to someone's face and stuff. And you can learn all that on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like all of it. You can learn all of it on YouTube.
Yeah.
You can go on Instagram, you can go on like Twitter, you can go on Google and stuff. You can find like free short courses. There's so many like resources out there. So I think like train yourself a bit, and then, you know, when you're like really into it, like start an Instagram account, start a YouTube account.
Okay.
Like you could do it via Facebook, just whatever means. It's like whatever platform's comfortable for you to get your stories across, like do it via that. But just at the end of the day, like just hit record, even if you don't know anything, just hit record and play with it, because I think trial and error is the best teacher anyway.
Yeah, it's that learning on the go.
Exactly.
How are you finding, I suppose, because one of the things that we're doing with Connecting Flemington is we're wanting to find out how people are coping with the lockdown and all the restrictions that are in place. One, how are you coping with that? And two, how are you finding that in relation to your creativity?
It was hard. It is hard, I'd say. But like I'm kind of getting used to it. Like it's been almost a month now.
Okay.
Right? It's been a month though, right?
Yeah, it's been
almost been a month now.
It's definitely been a month that was since the community center's been closed.
Yeah. So it was, for you and I, it was a bit sad, because that was like, I feel like just when the lockdown happened, that was going to be like our last week of filming, and we were going to be like done with our whole project, and it was just like straight to editing. But so we didn't like really get to finish off our last creative process of that, like in terms of production. But coming into the whole lockdown situation, at first it was kind of like just disheartening, because like all your gigs get cancelled, like all your events get cancelled. You just don't, like, your calendar just goes out the window. You don't know what you're doing for the next 3 weeks, because like it's not safe to go outside, and if you don't need to be outside, just be at home. So I've just been at home for the past like a month. If I'm not going grocery shopping and stuff, I'll go for walks, and that's about it. And I feel like because I feel locked up technically, I don't feel as creative as I would have, like being like in a normal everyday situation. But since this is the new normal, I find that I'm like slowly transitioning, like slowly chipping away at things I need to do anyway. Like I need to edit like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of photos. Like I need to go through like tons of videos to edit, and to just like get ready and stuff, and just to like do something, like just to keep my mind stimulated. So I feel like, you know, at the first 2 weeks it was kind of like I was like shut down, and I didn't want to do anything other than like to eat, sleep, watch a few seasons on Netflix. But now I'm slowly getting into the habit of like, you know, doing workouts, doing walks, like, you know, having activities around my day, having some type of routine to just keep me like stimulated and like above, like a sense of normal that I'm okay with. You know what I mean? Like I'm still not okay with this whole thing, but I just need to like get through it and get going. So that's how I found it. How about you? What have you been doing?
Look, adjusting for me, like wearing my hat world, wearing the hat for work world, is look, it's been challenging. It's been difficult for I think for a lot of the staff and how we do that. But I know that as a community centre and as council, we're actually trying to be outwardly focused in how do we continue to support our local community, how do we continue to support Flemington, how do we continue to put strategies in place that where we can support the community of Moonee Valley and the LGA, and just be as readily available as possible in with the restrictions that we all have. So yeah, so it is. Look, it's a
Yeah.
challenging time for all of us, but it's something we're trying to make work. When it comes to like routines and that, you said you exercising and you're doing video editing and that sort of stuff. From a creative standpoint, is there a creative habit that you're trying to do daily, weekly, that just keeps the juices flowing? That's not like a task or that.
Yeah. So I got into in terms of in terms of just I needed to do things to help with my well-being, because personally for me, I can't be creative if I don't feel good. If I'm not okay, I can't be as creative as I want to be. So in terms of just like from a well-being point of view, I just needed to be like getting out of bed, looking forward to do something, like creating certain tasks for myself that needed to be done during the day that are like small, that don't take too much energy. I found that working out was like the best way to do that at first. So it's just like 20 minutes in a day I'd work out, like I'd jump rope, or I'd take on the boxing bag, or I'd go for like a long walk with my siblings and stuff. Just things like that every day helps. So like after you work out, you're feeling motivated, you're feeling cool. So and then because I know I can't really, like, I could potentially create things in my own home and in my own room and stuff kind of thing, but I'm not there yet. So I feel like for me it's about honing into different skills, making sure I'm not like lacking. So I'd edit like 5 photos in a day, because I know I have like literally hundreds of photos to get through. I could sit down and just edit 100 photos in a day, but I know that will take too much energy and I won't touch photos for the next like month if I did that. So I think like giving myself like small goals in a day, or small tasks in a day to just get through the load I have, has really helped me. And then just editing and stuff, it'd be like, going through videos and like making small cuts and stuff, and seeing what I've done before, and, spending at least half an hour in my day sitting down and just like doing some editing, or like and then like slowly I'm trying to like get into writing. But it's like really hard when, I feel like all the news and media and everything we're like really exposed to is just like, everything's really sad in the world right now. So it's kind of like, you sit down and you're just like, oh, I want to do this, but then you can't help feel a certain way. But I do feel like, now is a good time to write and sit down, and now is a good time to create more than ever, because you can really just sit with yourself and feel like, okay, what's important to you? Like, what can you reflect on? And, just, you have so much time to think. So why not put that down on paper and then revisit it another time? Yeah.
Is there any, I suppose, as we start to draw to a close on their interview, are there any resources or places that you recommend that we should be looking or learning from? Any good books, podcasts, any creators which you recommend we should be looking at on YouTube or?
Well, the things I go on would probably be like on YouTube would be No Film School. It'd also be Rocket Jump Film School. And this crazy guy named Daniel Schuffer, that I recommend if you just want to if you want to literally start from scratch and then work your way up and stuff. They have things for everyone, from like your really advanced like filmmakers to like, if you're starting on the curve now and stuff kind of thing, and you want to elevate yourself, challenge yourself, they can teach you all the basics and so much more. So I recommend those 3 channels. But also, because of COVID-19, so many courses out there are now free, or like they're free for the meantime. So I suggest you jump on it. So one thing I want to work on is screenwriting, and NYC, so it's uni in New York.
New York College?
They have this
New York College.
There you go.
Yep.
They have this program for screenwriters and stuff called youngscreenwriters.teachable.com, and it's a free course, like free 8-week course where you can learn like short stories and how to write short stories. So those are the few plugs I can give. But also, just get out there. I feel like if you get out there, there's so many resources out there. So all you need to do is like look. And if you don't know what to look for and stuff, just I feel like try different things, try so many things. Because if you try something new every day kind of thing, something will eventually stick, and you'll want to start, like you'd want to continue and stuff. So find something you want to do, and do it.
Yeah, no, that's great advice. I know myself that from stuff that I've read and that they talk about the 10,000 hour rule, You know, so obviously the more
Yeah.
practice and the more times you do stuff, the easier it becomes.
Yeah.
But that's for
It's
expert
true.
level. But you only need to do,
Mm.
30 or 40 hours just to become proficient at something, whatever that may be. You know, you could spend a
That is
week
so
going
true.
down the rabbit hole of anything, and
That
you
is
learn
so
some
true.
basic skills. So yeah, no, thank you
Mm.
so much for those tips and advice, and
Thanks
for
for having me, Doug.
that's okay. Thank you for being part of our first Connecting Flemington series of interviews, and we hope that you're successful in all your endeavours and stay safe during this time.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you. Same, same. Same, same. Thanks for having me, guys.
cool. Thanks, Noel.
Bye.
Bye.